We have a lot of work to do, and we just have a little time.
I'm Ivan.
I'm Nick.
And this is DIY Detail. Today we have this beautiful blue Kia, but it's not so beautiful under all this dust.
Holy cow, you can see that in the camera?
This has been sitting in a dealership's lot for months, because when you see what's under this dirt, you're gonna go, ooh, it needs help.
We want to accomplish as much correction as we can on this paint. So after we wash it, Ivan, we're gonna take our most aggressive pad with the gold standard polish, and that's gonna be it. We're gonna get cut and finish in one with a 25mm machine. So Ivan, you think we can get this done in how long?
Hour and a half maximum with the two of us should be relatively easy.
It's not gonna take that long for you to watch it, folks. But if you don't believe in this magic, if you think it's something on the internet only, watch and learn.
Right. So first things first, we need to pre-rinse. We're gonna be doing that with the rinseless wash. We know this vehicle was cleaned by the dealership, but it sat on the lot for a long, long time because of all the scratches on it. And it's just surface scratching. It's not very deep, but they're there. So we're gonna pre-spray with our rinseless wash.
Thanks to Scott Grave for the rinseless wash keg.
Yep.
These ones work great. And so instead of like all clean or incredible suds, are we going for maximum efficiency here with the rinseless? Like walk me through why we're using that versus something else to pre-treat the paint.
Well, maximum efficiency, and we know that the dealership washed it, prepped it, put it on their lot, and it's been sitting there for a couple months.
So as much as you teach a standard operating procedure, it's important to use your brain and change a few things if the time is calling for that?
Well, there's no real change. We're still doing chemical, rinse chemical.
Okay.
But we're doing it with the rinseless wash to start instead of soap. So instead of incredible suds, we're using the rinseless wash in the keg. We'll let that dwell a moment or two, hit it with a pressure washer. And the reason we're using a pressure washer, you could use a garden hose, but the pressure washer uses a little less water and it's already very humid in here. The AC contractor hasn't really been here yet, so. And it's starting to get warm in Omaha. It's sunny out, finally. Now, Nick has already rinsed everything. I'm adding a little more rinseless wash to the surface, just to get it emulsifying, get it working on that little remaining traffic film, and we can start washing.
Ivan, even on washes, we like to glove up these days. We had a lot of comments, you should wear gloves, and I realized that we probably should.
Yeah, they're right. So we have nice bright red gloves. You can see them at all times. Starting with the roof, working our way down, and there's a bit of contamination on this vehicle. We can hear it.
Yes, we can. Ivan, our rinseless wash sponge has two sides. Why is that?
Well, for tracking more than anything else. Knowing that I started with one side and I'm finishing with the other. And also it fits our company colors.
A lot of folks ask us if they need to rub their legacy sponge up against the grid guard when they redunk in the bucket.
The answer is no.
You know why the answer is no? Is because when you dip your sponge in that bucket and it goes from dirty to clean, that tells you all you need to know. Ivan will tell you the scientific reason why, but your eyes will also tell you that you have a clean sponge, which is not gonna damage your paint. It's like the dirt just disappears, Ivan. Now give me the chemistry reason for that.
Well, encapsulation, emulsification.
If folks have never heard that before, they want more from you, Ivan.
Well, encapsulate means that it's taking the dirt and it's putting a nice layer of surfactants and polymers around it. And emulsification means that it's allowing it to go into the water and be suspended there and held in place. The heavy, what could actually be damaging the paint, falls to the bottom. That's why we have a grit guard in the bottom. And the rest, well, it goes away from the sponge. And the sponge is an integral part of this. Because what it does, it grabs the dirt off the vehicle. And it's absorbing the dirt. And we always say the sponge should be just on the verge of dripping. Because if your sponge is too wet, it's gonna try to deposit the rinseless onto the surface, which is part of what we're doing. But if it's just on the verge of dripping, it's trying to absorb that dirt. It's trying to bring it into the sponge. It's doing what a sponge does best, and that is absorb. But as soon as you touch it to that water or your rinseless wash bucket, bang, it lets go of everything.
One thing that just makes sense to me is the reason we don't have our sponge super sopping wet when we use it is that a sponge does what it does best by absorbing. Exactly. And when it's super wet, you cut down on the efficiency of what that sponge was designed to do.
Exactly.
You've never explained rinseless washing. How did that go for your first time?
Pretty good.
How did it feel? It felt like you feel like the people are gonna hopefully buy into this whole rinseless washing magic?
Well, it's been around for over 20 years. Rinseless washing isn't new, but for some people it's a different technology. It's a different technique. It's just a technique you need to learn.
I know, I'm just giving you a hard time, Ivan. Yeah, I know you've said it so many times, explained it, and on the verge of dripping is something a lot of folks have suggested should go on a t-shirt.
Right, because every time they hear that phrase, every time they use rinseless, that phrase goes through their head.
I'm just struck by how many people have never heard of any of this stuff. We're just getting into car washing, so I never assume, right?
Right. Now, the rinseless wash by itself is a spectacular clay lube. We have our PSD, perforated synthetic decontamination towel, and that's all we're gonna use. So the rinseless wash combined with the decontamination towel is gonna do what we need on the surface, allowing us to free it of contaminants, making it ready for polishing.
I know that when Ivan promises an efficient detail, he's not here to mess around, guys. It's game time. It's interesting. I mean, this could be like a production detail. What would a professional who does a job like this be considered? Are they doing an efficient detail? Are they a production detailer versus a show car? Like, kind of describe where this would be a valuable service for somebody as a pro.
As a detailer, that's it. It has nothing to do with if you're a production detailer, if you're a high-end detailer. This can be done to a high-end vehicle. This can be done to the daily driver, the garage queen, and also the scrapyard or sell. So anywhere in between.
This is the perfect car for it, Ivan.
Well, the dealership has very low expectations because it's been sitting on their lot for a long time. And when everybody sees this car, if it were a rainy day, it looks spectacular. But as soon as it's dry, it's looking neglected because of all the scratching that's on it. And this car was originally from a rental fleet. And
so it's seen a few car washes in the day.
It's seen a few car washes, brush washes with not necessarily a clean brush. And at the dealership, most of the cars at the dealership are clean. This one was in the back row and dirty because they've sort of given up hope on it. We're gonna renew that hope and that faith, and yes, we can sell this car. Because as a salesperson, if you're confronted with a car that's not exactly perfect, it's not the one you want to show to your customers.
Some folks are gonna say, no iron remover, no clay bar, you guys are a bunch of hacks.
Well, we are using the perforated synthetic decontamination towel and iron remover. We really don't need on this one. The dealership, as I say, has already prepped it, and I know that dealership does an iron removal cleaning on all vehicles. And then after that, it's just sat on their lot, not getting any test drives because, well, they should have polished it.
Also, to me, vehicles that get washed a lot, Ivan, they don't tend to be as contaminated. That's one part of frequent drive-through car washes that, you know, even customers as a detailer, I'd see their cars, they'd be scratched all like this
get
one.
out. Yeah,
but they were kind of clean. They didn't have a lot of bonding contaminants.
No, because the car wash, not only do they use brushes, they use some rather aggressive chemicals sometimes. And once we get this dry, we'll bring you in for a closer look at the paint. Of course, the drying blanket doing a spectacular job of cleaning the surface. And no, we're not using a drying aid. Again, the rinseless wash is a great drying aid. You don't need anything different, or you don't need a specific drying aid with a rinseless wash.
Doesn't mean if we weren't polishing, I wouldn't use one. I love a good drying aid like ceramic gloss, but folks, just try it. It's mind-blowing. If you're doing an express detail or you just want to wash your vehicle before you go to work or before a date or just, you don't have time, this could be it, and you're done.
Right, had we added ceramic gloss to this to dry, it wouldn't have taken any longer.
It would have smelled even better.
Definitely.
My favorite smelling product in the lineup. I love Gold Standard Polish. I love Rinseless Wash. There's many chemicals in our lineup. I love Quick Beads.
Yeah.
But ceramic gloss takes the cake for me.
Ceramic gloss and interior clean and protect is also one that I really like the smell of.
Ooh, underrated.
And one thing I like about the smell is it doesn't linger for long. I like my interior to smell of nothing.
Tire lotion smells pretty great too, actually. Now, what is your favorite smelling DIY detail chemical out there? What's your favorite product? Put it in the comments below. We read them all, answer them all, and anything that you ask us gives us ideas for more videos. So please, what questions do you have about the process so far? And what do you expect for results? I'd be curious to know what you think of this method before we get started.
That was all of what, 15 minutes?
15 long minutes of us chit-chatting. I think we could have done that in 12 if we were
Right.
pedal to the metal.
And getting our truth-saying light out here, yeah, it needs help.
Oh, it is in rough shape.
Yeah.
This is what swirls look like, folks.
Yeah.
This is what swirls look like.
This is swirled up paint at its best.
Holy cow, you can see that in the camera. So our wool on a dual action polisher
Right.
is here to save the day.
The Gold Standard Polish 25mm polisher, our wool pad, and we'll have a shiny, ready to drive Kia. Now, to speed up the process a little bit, we're each gonna choose half of the car, and from there, when we're doing it, we do the panel, we wipe it off with ceramic gloss as a drying aid, we carry on, that panel is done. We're not walking back and forth around the car.
Okay, you do this side, I'll do that side.
It's up to you. One thing we always recommend is to use a rinseless dampened towel to remove the polish residue. But if you don't have a bucket of rinseless, like we have sitting right there, you should have rinseless in your pad washer. You can use your towel, put it on the pad washer, a couple hits on the pad washer, and now I have a nice wet towel. I'll wring it out, and it's ready to remove any polish residue. From here, my pad is washed. One spray of the Gold Standard on my wool pad. Put my machine at speed 2 or 3, and off we go. Now I'm only gonna do half this trunk lid, and we'll bring you in to see what difference it actually makes. Rinseless dampened towel, remove the residue, and while it's still damp, a little spray of ceramic gloss as a drying aid and protection. And yes, we have made a substantial difference here. So let us bring the camera in a little closer. This is what we started with, and this is what we have now. Very substantial reduction in swirls. We have a much nicer, clearer surface. We can actually see the metallic. So Nick, 3 passes, that's all we need.
Here we go. Hey Ivan,
Yes, sir.
I didn't want you to outdo me, so I had to go to town on the hood, and just the wool, with the Gold Standard polish, look at some of the etching, and then go over and see the gloss on the other side.
Wow.
It's good, right? Same combo as you, it just, it's the combo's working.
Exactly.
This is my first foray, but if you go back over to it, that is one step, everybody. Whew, looking good.
One step, easy wipe off, no stress.
Perfect.
Now I'm doing a little 50-50 of my own here,
Oh, okay.
but I'm not touching the driver's door, just doing the passenger's door, and you can definitely see the difference. Nick, I want to point something out to you here.
All right, I'm looking.
So this vehicle was waxed. And we can see that by the way the polish is reacting. So if we look at the polish, normally we have this nice finish here. Now we have what looks like the polish balling up. And that's actually the wax that's pulling from the surface.
So how can you tell that?
By the look. If we had no wax on this surface, it would not ball up like that. It would be a nice smooth finish. So let me move a little slower here. So see how we have that nice smooth surface that we normally have. But if I look at where I stopped, I not only have the action of the tool, but I have what looks like separation of the polish from the paint. And that separation of the polish from the paint is because of the wax that's balling up the wax or sealant that's balling up the polish. So we're not getting the normal working time that we would out of this because we're getting that wax. But luckily we're just doing 3 passes anyway, so it's not affecting us. But now we are removing the wax from the surface.
I would never have known that. Except for that there was water beads on here.
Not only is the door looking much better.
Wow.
So, color difference?
Yes.
Yeah.
Color, gloss.
Color, gloss.
Hazy, glossy, scratchy, not as scratchy.
Right. But also take a look at the B-pillar. So we have a nice even finish. We have a splotchy, grayish looking finish there.
So you're able to polish that with the wool pad?
Yeah, definitely.
You should be a little careful with the wool pad on trim, right?
It's a 3-year-old car. I'm not concerned. For a 10-year-old car, I'd be a little more careful.
A light pass with the foam instead.
Yeah, but with this, and this isn't one that's vinyl wrapped, and it's not one of those piano black ones. It's just a nice cast plastic, so it's easy to do. What do you think of a one step with a wool pad?
It's great.
Yeah.
Amazing cut, super glossy finish. The ceramic gloss smells good. It pairs up my 2 favorite smelling products in the line.
Exactly.
You know, no, but the results are hard to argue with. We absolutely changed the color of these panels.
Right, they went from a dull blue to look at me blue.
I think the car is gonna sell, Ivan.
I hope so. And speaking of selling cars, you might want to watch this video.
What's it about?
You'll find out.